Welcome into another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the prior videos, questions, or comments, and help you with your HUT lineup decisions. I apologize for the delay in Who Should You Choose. I missed 2 days, because I was trapped in the Panarin moments for 9 straight hours. So did not get time in the morning to do that, but that's done. And then I ordered Skip the Dishes. So today I want to talk about, we're going to go over the comments from the last few days, but I want to go over everyone's gonna have questions about the fantasy cards, and I'm not gonna be able to answer those questions before the new video or before the event ends. So for anyone that's gonna watch it this afternoon looking for help with who to make from the fantasy event, I want to address that first. That's gonna be like the first majority part of this video. So if you are trying to decide between one more choice of the fantasy cards, this is like the first time that I think that there are multiple options that you are completely okay. So the fantasy event, in my opinion, this was the best year of it. I can't remember a time that this many players had this many fantasy cards, and that's just great to see. So got to give them props. Got to give EA props for when they do get some W's. So this event has been great. Here's what I would do. Again, for anyone that has a BND card. So if you did the 16 event or the 16 pack, or you bought the 600K coin pack and you have a BND Week 2 card, do not do another thing, a set or pack that has a chance to get a BND card, okay? So take that off the table. Even if you can only do let's say you bought the 600K pack and you have 16 collectibles and you can do that, that might be a scenario. But understand that, there will be a set after the event where you can trade in fantasy collectibles for packs, more than likely. There has to be, because there's a lot of unused collectibles that will be used for packs. The packs will be awful. Don't be like, oh, I got to make a bunch of these because I'm going to cash them. The packs are going to be terrible. But nonetheless, you might be throwing away some more stuff by getting 2 BND cards. So that said, here are the options that I personally would go with, because I'm in the situation. I was able to get the card I wanted with the B&D set, so now I'm burning everything. In my opinion, you should burn everything. Your coins, your collection, all of it, for a fantasy card, if you can get it done. If you can't, then maybe sell everything that if you have tradable, right? The reason for it is there is not going to be an event where EA has no control over the cards. Like, look at Sanheim, for example. Sanheim he might go a month without scoring again, and he is still the best defenseman in the game, right? So that's why you have to go all in on this event specifically. So here is what I would do. Among the cards, I just want to write this down because I don't want to forget any. So here are the options that I would choose, and I'm going to be honest with you, ranking them 1 to 7, there's an argument for all of them. So Parayko is 1. I think that he's usable now, and he has a good shot at hitting 99. I think that all those things aside, I think that he is one that if you made him with the 40, you're golden. Ekholm is the next one, and that has been like the decision. Should you make Ekholm or Parayko? Ekholm needs a goal or two before his skating is like decent for the lower end skilled players, because you guys have a little bit harder time using the slower players. A lot of north-south when you're playing. So a lot of people that struggle with Chara, Ekholm is going to take you time. He's going to need a couple more goals to get in your lineup. Same situation though, better offensive team. He is on power play 1 right now, McDavid out. So either one of those is 100% okay. What I would do to break the tie, actually I'll save that for later. The next one, we'll do Zetterlund. So I've talked about Zetterlund in my video. The reason why I had him listed as the A tier is simply because he is one of the more boring options, because he's also the safest. So among all the forwards, I said this in my video, he is 100% going to hit 99. They statted him too low. They should have switched him and Palmieri, because I don't think Palmieri has any shot at hitting 99. I could be wrong. He's been lighting it up. It's been about a week since scoring, but that, in my opinion, I think they statted Zetterlund way too low. He is going to get 20 goals in his sleep. He's well on his way now, and he's already 85 overall. The problem with Zetterlund is that he's got like the Crosby stat issue, where whatever overall he is, that's what all of his attributes are. So it's not like he has a crazy high body checking stat or face-off rating. He's a winger, or a shot, or skating. Right? At 90 overall, he's going to have 90 attributes, but his skating is going to be like 86, 87, because it goes up by 0.5. So he will get to 99. It will probably take the full season. Maybe not. He's been scoring quite well, and the Sharks are doing decent now, which like love hate that, but very very safe. If you wanted just to throw a card in your lineup, he's usable now, and it's going to be kind of boring. But Zetterlund is another great option if you want to go forward, not Pareko or Ekholm. After Zetterlund, Kopitar. So Kopitar will take a little while to get into your lineup. Safe to hit 99, I think. Very involved in the Kings offense still, obviously older, but as he gets higher and overall, his skating's a little slow, but centermen don't need as much skating as the other positions because you're not blowing down the wing with your centerman. And he's got a great face-off rating. So I think he's got 80 overall face-offs at 80. So when he hits like 85, let's say, he's going to have 85 draws. Like, he's going to be one of the better ones, and I believe he has two-way forward. So at 99, he's going to be great. Kopitar is another great option. Trocheck is another one. Very safe to get to 99. It's going to take a little while. But again, it's another one where if I got Trocheck, I wouldn't be upset. I think he's going to hit 99 pretty safely. Chiarelli is probably the most boring of the bunch. I think that with his start so far, he's usable now, which is great. And I think that he will hit 99. Analytically, he's projected to. So that would be another one. I don't think I'm forgetting any, though. That would be my list. There's 6. Maybe there's one more I'm forgetting. I'm doing this live, so I apologize for anyone watching the video. Anyone in my chat? All the other ones. So Holla is probably the most usable. I don't have any faith he's going to hit 99. Someone just mentioned Eberle. I think like a tier below. I wouldn't make Eberle or Holla unless he's on your favorite team over any of those guys. Backlund, no. But no, Pareko, Ekholm, Zetterlund, Kopitar, Trocheck, and Chiarelli. Jones. I knew I was forgetting one. Seth Jones. That's the other one. Jones is right in line with Pareko and Ekholm. So if you're going to make a defenseman, Seth Jones would be the other one. Here is what I would do for the tiebreaker, guys. If none of these cards do it for you, like if all of this list, and I've said that any of these ones are the great options to make, here is what I would do. One, if you're like Pareko is in your lineup, so if you have no right-handed defenseman other than like Cale Makar, and maybe he plays line 2 for you, then that I would maybe go Pareko. But that being said, or even Jones because he's kind of statted better right now. I think what I would do and how I would determine this tiebreaker is if none of these guys are on your favorite team, all right, I would make whatever player that you're cool with watching that team. Honest to God, because that's what the fantasy event's all about. All of these guys should hit 99. They're all doing great right now. There is not like no one, if anyone can predict who's going to do better, then you are not in the right line of work. You should just be doing parlays because you can predict the future. That would be what I would recommend. Whatever team that you're cool with watching. So, for example, if you are an East Coaster and you're not going to stay up late because you're maybe an old dad or just older guy like myself, and I have a hard time watching Sharks games currently because it's so late, maybe don't go with Zetterlund. Maybe go with Trocheck because he's on the East Coast. Same thing. I don't want to watch the Blackhawks ever. I wouldn't choose Jones. So then it's between Ekholm and Pareko for me personally. I'll tell you who I'm taking personally. Ekholm and Pareko. The Blues start about an hour and a half before the Oilers do. Probably going to go Pareko for that reason. So I hope that helps. I know everyone wants to be told what to do, but I'm not proud of myself enough to be like, this is 100% the player to make because he's going to hit 99 first. Again, I would be rich if I could do that. Any of those 7 are fine. Make who you would watch more likely and then divide it by position. But those that's how I would do it. All right, on to the questions from the last episode. Henry says, "Hey, Sleeps, thanks for the content. Love hearing your take on the events and cards to grind for. I had a quick question. Do you think that the X Factor captain cards are going to have a tough time upgrading as some of the weekly content only has 1 to 2 players with higher overalls than 84? Do you think the X Factor captain are going to have a hard time? No, they'll figure out a way to like give Nylander an event card or a master set item, or I'd be willing to bet that all of the upgradable cards will get a +1 card every month. So we've ticked over into November. We're going to start seeing the next. For example, the HUD Champs card, Danny Heatley, is an 85 and 86 as opposed to 84 and 85 from last month. So I would bet that there's like an 85 overall or 86, whatever the rating is, Nylander, card that comes out. I think that's what it'll be. Maybe not. Again, this content team is completely unpredictable. So maybe they just do it via game breakers and you got to wait. But I would be willing to bet that Nylander has a good game, like he has recently playing with Tavares and Pacioretty, that he gets a game breaker card that's 85 or 86 overall to tick him up a tier. Lego Rocks, my man. From creator to creator, man, I just want to say thank you for doing this series. It's always a blast to have these videos on while grinding some moments or recording Squad Battles gameplay. I'm not super competitive in HUT as I used to be, top 100 chance player in NHL 23 and Div 1 sweat in NHL 21. But that's mostly due to life catching up. I can appreciate that. Can honestly say I'm having a great time with this slower progression since the FOMO of not playing Squad Battles, Rivals, and Champs every week just doesn't exist anymore. Keep up the great work, Sleeves. 100%. I've said this since the start of the game. One of the underrated things about NHL 25 is that HUT Champs Mike Green kind of stunk. Didn't need to do it. Second HUT Champs weekend of the year as a full-time HUT creator, and I didn't complete it because I didn't have time and I didn't care, right? So I'm with you on that, man. That is one good thing. They need to fix a lot of the other stuff via content, but that is one thing that I the slower progression, A, made the fantasy event fantastic, but B, also allows you to just miss out on things and you don't have to feel the need to, grind incessantly. Frau says, love the shout out for the listeners at work. I use the info when I get home to try and fit in a couple hours, keep the good work sleeps. Hey, man, I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for all you, the homies at work, watching me in the afternoon. So thank you, everyone. Geek Gamer says, love your video, sleeves. I only got back into NHL and HUD about 3 years ago, and you've been the guy to go to for info and strategies. I'm just curious, am I doing something wrong? I find my players just tire so quickly. And then when they're tired, they don't make line changes, not moments where the lines do not change. I mean, I know I can do line changes manually. Thing is, so much going on in the game. We can't sit there and stare at the bottom left corner and cycle through lines for a fresh one. I saw your voice was almost gone, then family issues. I hope all is well. You're always so down to earth, and I try to cover all types of players and content. You need some downtime. You keep pumping out the videos the way you are. Gonna burn yourself out. I appreciate that, man. Everything's great. Had a great first Halloween with my son. He was Lightning McQueen, so ka-chow. And hope everyone else had a great Halloween as well. That being said, when it comes to your players tiring out, take a look and see if you have a lot of guys with low endurance. Secondly, go into your strategies and see the efficiency and energy bar. Slide that down to efficiency a little bit more and see if that helps. The other thing is line changes are scuffed, so you're not the only one. What I would do if you're in a Rivals game, I don't know your skill level, but if you're struggling with it, skate back into the zone, and if someone isn't pressuring you, then that's when I would change lines, and then wait and watch for them to actually change. Another thing you can do is manually take a player that is like dead tired, drag them over to the bench, and then switch off, and they should change. But line changes in 25 are scuffed. It's a known issue, and hopefully they fix it. Martin says, hey, slaves, I have to say this fantasy event is the best I feel that we've ever gotten. There is a very high value of having a 99 in late April and March. This year more than most, considering progression has come to a halt, with us probably not receiving regular 87s until December. Also, looking at the fantasy cards, I can say that I'm very confident about a high amount of them hitting 99. This event is the best of the year, and I don't think anything comes super close to it. It makes me want to watch hockey, which I think is the high point of a video game. Hope you and your family are doing well. It's always been my favorite part of the fantasy event. This event, along with the All-Star event, when they started doing the if they score in the game or if they score during the skills competition, like how they do, was always my favorite thing. They kind of was the last All-Star event was kind of a letdown, but the original, like the earlier versions of it, because anytime that you promote gets you to watch other hockey, I think that's a good thing for the game in general. I think that the game should get you to want to watch more of the sport and not the other way around, Anyways, I completely agree. I think this is the best fantasy event we've ever gotten. More people are going to leave with a fantasy card than ever before, and it's not close. So, like I said, you got to celebrate the W's when you get them. Last one here of the liked ones, and then I'll switch over. As a high Div 4 pleb, I'm absolutely in love with this Chara, and I don't even have him maxed out. Him and Cover Athlete Makar are just an insane duo. This had the most likes on the video. So I was talking about Chara being kind of broken in the last video. I've used Chara. He works great. I think that there's some... I don't know what it is, because I've seen a lot of people complain about Chara. He's working great for me now. He hits DD one-timers. Again, I think the players that struggle with Chara are the ones that are just going up and down a ton. Chara should be used, like, if you lose the puck in the offensive zone, hold down right trigger, click in R3 to select your furthest player back, which is usually your defenseman, get Chara, and then you want to slowly work the blue line so that they don't blow down the boards because they can't get around you with that stick check. But no, he has been very, very good for me. All right, so moving on. We'll just go through the questions that I saw. So there's a lot of Chara ones. I didn't have any problems with the pro difficulty, but now I got to get the 3 top cheddar goals. I'm with you, man. It was rough. I mentioned this in my Panera video. I think that there should be a moments list that is like the extreme moments where they're so hard, but they have to work. The fact that you would score a top shelf goal and it wasn't always guaranteed going to work. It was a really big letdown. Ola sleeves. I think a nice change for EA would be to implement power-up collectibles that can be applicable to all power-up cards. For example, rather than needing supernatural collectibles to upgrade supernatural event items, you should just need to acquire power-up collectibles, and those collectibles would be universal. Yeah, man, we had that, and I don't know why they wanted to make things more complicated with more collectibles. Kind of stinks. I'm with you. Very silly, very convoluted, very confusing. We had it for a year, and the new content team took it away. So, I'm in a bit of a predicament. I got Pareko out of the 600K pack in the store, had a bunch of coins. As a Hawks fan, I want to make Jones, but it seems a little dumb to have 2 fantasy right-handed defensemen. I have 40 collectibles. I'm debating making Ekholm since the majority of D2Ds 1Ts go in for my left-handed defenseman. I love that I know you always think over your favorite players, and I've been doing that this year, but this one seems tougher because it's fantasy. Dude, if there was ever an event to do your favorite player, or your favorite players in your favorite team, it's this one. I took Zetterlund, and I'm bored with I wasn't in love with the Zetterlund thing. He's doing well, but go with Jones, man. That means your right-handed defensemen are set. You know. What up, sleeves? Hope your Halloween is good. Not who should you choose question, but I wanted to mention that I saw another person commenting on the supernatural Chara and the green rings below him are not activating. I thought I was either crazy or not doing something right when this was happening to me, but it seems as though I'm not the only one. This is also happening with the Yager card from the same event, only to a lesser degree. As for the only other one I've tried, Yossi, it works for him. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm guessing a bug. As for Chara card, it's underwhelming, unfortunately, but he does lay people out with truculence, so I've found a use for him on the squad. Also, I know people have been talking about nerfing the skill-based one-timers, and I do agree they're OP, but it's hard to trust they won't nerf them into the nether realm like they did with the pokes and hitting in general. It seems like everything they can't ever find a happy medium. It's fun to launch. It's fun to launch these rockets at the net. Not trying to complain too much, just trying to give constructive criticism. So I released a tweet, guys. I don't know if you saw this. It was a poll, and I wanted anyone that was 1900 skill rating and below. I wanted the votes on those players specifically. And I think we got like 1,500 votes. So very small microcosm of the community, obviously, but 1,500 isn't nothing. And it was 63% said they enjoyed this game more than 23 and 24. And like the things I took away from it is like DDD one-timers are really broken in the sense that if you take a DDD one-timer, it should not go in as often as it does. Like it should be especially unscreened, right? That's the issue. But the problem is that the lower divisions, right? It's very easy to stop someone in the lower, and by lower divisions, I mean 1900 and below, so even Division 2. It's very easy to sit at the point and defend that, and people that are not as skilled at the game will just sit there trying to force feed it through. As you get into the Division 1 or Hut Champs players that are very good, the problem with that is it's a goal that does not require a lot of skill, right? And when you're playing Division 1 players, they've got to now defend players that are so good at defending the puck or protecting the puck and other goals on top of the one-timers. You've got to do both. And that's an adjustment, but it's a very unskilled goal, but people are having fun with it. So my recommendation is why not in Hut Champs, you just nerf D2D one-timers and see what the player base says for like 2 weeks. Not Rivals, because Rivals impacts the entire player base. Just try it in Champs and see if if that does do the trick or not, because I'm with you that I don't trust them to not just nerf them into oblivion, and obviously that would completely change how the game's played. Grinding squad battles to get my collectibles to make Trocheck. As someone with a full-time job in office, squad battles is huge for me. Would like to compete online, but it just isn't in the cards for me. I love hockey, so I'm happy with what I can play. Thanks for the content. What I'd recommend, dude, is if you do get some time and you don't want to play Rivals, right? What I would do is play Wildcard. It's very fast. It gets you experienced with online play. I think it's a very good mode for newer players. For anyone unsure about the Ekholm fantasy card, he plays on a line with Bouchard, so he spends a lot of time in the O-zone with McDavid and Draisaitl, and also will sometimes play on Edmonton's second power play, so he could honestly score more than people think. I don't think it's a scoring issue. I think that he will hit 99. I don't know if it'll happen like a month, right? Like, I don't know if he's got that in him. It's just like, I think they're all very good options. Hey, Slaves. I did week 1 B&D set, and I got Forsling, and my right-handed defenseman is 85 EK65, 85 Drysdale, and Makar. So I'm looking for a center to make for week 2 in my 40 collectibles. Should I go with an MSP like Trocheck or Kopitar who have good faceoffs, but more will take longer to go to get an 84 base who's already in the low 80s, but worse in faceoffs? Edit. I did week 2 B&D and got Zetterland and somehow pulled Hartman from a daily rewards pack, but I still have 40 collectibles. I would go, in your situation, I would go Kopitar or Trocheck, whoever you're okay with, watching. Sleeves, your strategy video was a complete game changer for me. I started playing NHL last year. I spent a ton of money and finished the year with a 99 team in Div 5. This year, I've watched every one of your videos and haven't spent a dime. It's more enjoyable and far more rewarding experience. My win-loss ratio is vastly improved. Keep up the great work. My question is, why do you think this year's game is getting so much heat in the online community? I watched a YouTube video where the creator read reviews and none of them were positive. They tore the game apart. Do you think they are even playing it? When it comes to like reviews or like anytime EA releases a tweet or Instagram, you've got jaded fans from the community for the last 15 years where the game has been viewed as subpar. So that's there. It's always going to be super negative, and that goes a lot for like FIFA and Madden too. Those communities are bigger. I think that a lot of the hate from the YouTube community specifically has been the content, and the content being far more underwhelming. They made dramatic shifts in it this year. The XP path was an absolute disaster. Now you've got to, for them to make up for the lack of stuff in the XP path, they've got to release tons of moments and objectives, and now you're playing squad battles again. We're right back to where we were, where at the first 2 weeks of the game where there was really nothing to earn, you could legit just play rivals because all there was the XP path. And if they can figure out the XP path and make it super lucrative, where all of the rewards from moments that we're getting, like let's say Panarin, for example, isn't in the moments, Panarin is like tier 70, right? Then that changes everything. We go back to being able to play the game we want. I have not played Rivals. I've played maybe 10 games of Rivals in 10 days because I've had to keep up with my chores. And that is a disaster. That they need to get away from that. It's an absolute mess. So sorry guys for the scuffed Who Should You Choose video. I just wanted to make sure that I got out the stuff about fantasy because I know it's ending. And I apologize for the lack of the last 2 days. Again, I was literally just on stream for 7 hours on the Score Top Shelf goal. So that being said, I will do 2 extra videos this weekend. So if you're subscribed with notifications on, you're going to get your chance to get your question answered in the next video. And I will see you guys later. Have a good one.